you got yourself an empty card there. Hey everybody, Templar74 here with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video is going to be my thoughts and impressions regarding episode 27 of Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS. And I gotta be honest with you guys, this episode was really a fanboy episode. There really wasn't a whole lot here, but it was still a good episode. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and start talking about the episode. The episode starts off with Faust, and we actually see him standing next to pretty much what I would refer to as coffins. And in these, we have Dr. Genome and Byra here, and as we all know, they have both been purged by the Knights of Hanoi after losing their battles with Go and Blue Angel. So yeah, they're both there, and we see Faust vowing that he will save them by capturing the Ignis. And speaking of Ignis, we also transition back to Ignis and Robapi, and we find this out later in the episode that Robapi has modified the dual disc for Yusak, basically saying that this will make it so that they are unable to catch me, referring to the Knights of Hanoi. It's funny because this is the first time, I think, since these two characters started interacting, we haven't got the robot sex play on that they've been doing every single time these two interact. Very nice to see that they're backing away from the Robo 6 thing, because that was kind of disturbing. But anyway, we also transition back to Yusak's school, and we actually see Naoki there, and he's basically trying to convince Yusak, hey, we can't stand by here, we gotta fight the Knights of Hanoi. Blue Angel and Playmaker are doing everything, and Yusak is saying, that's not a good idea. And when Naoki, I cannot remember his name for the life of me, but when Naoki is saying, well, why not, that is when Yusak gives his three reasons. His three reasons are as follows. First of all, the removal program has already gone through, the others are recovering, so it's not as big of a problem. 2, you don't have a plan, and 3, you're scared. And Naoki is just furious that Yusak would say he's scared, and he leaves. And we actually see Ignis look at him and be like, that was not a good idea for what you've done. And we actually see Naoki wander to the duel club there at the school, and he's actually gets some flashbacks to when he first joined the duel club, and he explained himself. Really could care less about all that, but again, that's just me. Naoki, really not one of my favorite VRAINS characters. I think the show could be better off without him. He's the Salvatore of VRAINS, in my opinion. But that whole point aside, we see flashbacks of that, and we actually see something come across his dual disc when it says that it's downloading some kind of update, and he's like, well, wait a minute, I didn't download anything. And we actually see a hologram of Cyverse Wizard there, and we also see a message basically saying that Playmaker is saying, here, take this card, do what you need to do. Basically, it's giving Naoki the impression that Playmaker has chosen him to go in there and do battle with the Knights of Hanoi. Of course, this is all a trick by Faust. Playmaker had nothing to do with this. But anyway, we see Naoki take Cyverse Wizard, that actually it's the data of Cyverse Wizard that Hanoi stole from Yusak, but we actually see him take this card into the VRAINS, and we actually see like a mediocre duel between Naoki and a Knight of Hanoi. I mean, these guys are just terrible dueling. Their first hands are all like level 5s, level 7s, and level 10 monsters. Nothing you can summon on a first turn without a tribute or a release, so that's really a style cramper. But we actually see Naoki pull off a win because the Knight of Hanoi is actually doing better. He's managed to get a level 10 monster out, 3,200 attack points. Naoki relies on Cyverse Wizard and its effect to switch it into defense mode and then deal piercing damage, thus getting rid of the Knight of Hanoi. And of course, this is witnessed by 3 or 4 other people. So now Naoki and his avatar now they're the hot shots of VRAINS at this point. He's getting all this praise. It's going to his head. He's back at school. We see him wandering along, and he says, I am Playmaker. And that's when Faust comes up behind him, and he says, you are Playmaker's what? And Naoki turns around, and we see the Knight of Hanoi gut check him, knocks him out. We see him get kidnapped. Naoki is strapped down, and Faust is the one that comes up to him and says, "You're going to call Playmaker." And Naoki said, "I can't call Playmaker. I don't know anything." And Faust is like, "Okay then." And Naoki is fully convinced that he is being turned into another at this point, but really he's just being sent to Vrains against his will, where Faust is staring him down. And we also see Faust look up and he's like, "Playmaker, I know you're watching. Come here, battle me now." And we actually see Yusak and Kusanagi. They're trying to figure out what to do at this point because they know they got to save Naoki. Well, they don't have to, but I guess they're going to. But basically, they're trying to figure out what do they do. And that's when Kusanagi says, "I will find his physical location. You go to Vrains and save him." And Yusak says, "Okay, I'll do that." But the dual disc is missing. And it's about this time that Ignis comes on the monitor, and he reveals that him and Robapi had made a modification to the dual disc, and now the dual disc is like a drone, and now he's flying over the city to try to find Naoki through Cyberse Wizard's data. And it's funny because before all this went down, Yusak is like, "Why does he have Cyberse Wizard? I have the card right here." And Ignis taps the card and he said, "The data's missing. You got yourself an empty card there." So this is how they're going to find Naoki. They're going to track down Cyberse Wizard's data. And Ignis actually does find it rather quickly. So we actually see Yusak and Kusanagi race to where Ignis is. Ignis returns the dual disc to Yusak, and we see him go into the Vrains to confront Faust and save Naoki. And we actually see Kusanagi, well, we don't see him rather, but he basically says, "Leave it to me on this side, I'll save him." And that was pretty much the episode. So yeah, overall, this episode really wasn't the best episode of Vrains, but it wasn't the worst episode ever. I'm torn. This episode is actually the first time Vrains is actually going to get a 5 or a 6 out of me. I'm leaning more towards 5.5 because it's in the middle. This episode was really one that, although it was entertaining and humorous at points, it was one that I didn't really think was necessary, but that's just my own opinion. So anyway, as always, in the comments section down below, let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just there? What were some of your highlights of the episode? Just let me know in the comments section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. All right, everybody, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.